Hi guys, happy Sunday and welcome back to Stretching for Runners. I hope we've had some lovely runs this weekend. I know I've seen a few runs from you guys over on Instagram and also some serious gym sessions as well from Kaylee, who's here. So we've been doing some serious work this week, which needs stretching out. So we are going to work through a really deep stretch. We're going to be holding our stretches for quite a prolonged period in today's session. And we're also going to attack those areas that you guys let me know we're feeling a little bit sore and tired as well. So we are going to use the playlist if you fancy, which is in the chat. I've just sent it again, so you've got it. I will let you know when to pop it on in a second. I'm just going to make sure I am pinned. Yes, I am. So just to recap for those of you joining now or on demand, things you need for today's session: make sure you've got some water nearby, comfies are on, you've got a couple of cushions, and also you need a lever of some sort. So either a pair of tights, a dressing gown band, a resistance band, anything like that is going to work really well. Okay, we are going to get started with today's class. So if you'd like to use the playlist today or you'd like to use your own music, pop it on now. And we're going to start today's class a little bit differently to normal. So normally we start seated, but today we're actually going to start lying down. So grab one of your cushions for me, pop it to the top of your mat, and whenever you're ready, have a sip of water if you need. And once you're ready, just turning around and lowering ourselves down to the floor, head on our cushion, where we're going to start just calming down our breathing. Now, totally up to you. If you'd like your feet flat to the floor with the knees bent, that's fine. Perhaps you want your feet together with the knees out wide, or perhaps you want the legs stretched out in front of you, wherever you'd like them to be, wherever you can be comfortable, just move to that position. We're going to take one hand to the belly, one hand to the chest, and we're going to slowly breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, and just start calming the body down. Especially for anyone who's been working through sessions or runs today, it's just really important that we start to calm that body down before we move into our stretching. Now remember, for today's session, you're the only person that can hear yourself. So feel free to make those exhales, deep sighs if you need to, whatever you need from today's session. Keeping those eyes closed if you can, and using my voice as a guide as much as you can during today's session. I'll come over and give some pointers as we move through our more complex stretches as well. Really concentrating on that breathing now. And we're going to start off today's class with a few spinal twists to just activate our neurosystem and get it ready to start stretching out. So when you're ready, we're going to take the right arm out to the side. Now it can either be out to the side or it can be bent. Whatever space you have is fine. The left hand is going to take a hold of the right knee. We're going to turn the head to look to the right arm, and we're going to use the left arm to bring the right leg over to the left hand side into a nice deep spinal twist. And just keep that breathing going nice and deep. Don't worry if there's a few creaks or a few clicks. There was definitely a click my end. Just close those eyes down and start to tune into the body and what it needs. The back is often an area we completely forget about when it comes to stretching. So this is really nice to use as your first stretch, because it's just going to make you realize either you're about as tense as you thought you were, or you're a little bit more tense than you thought you were. And just keep that breathing going, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to the center. We're going to take the left arm out to the side now. The right hand is going to take the outside of the left knee. The head turns to the left arm, and we slowly roll over to the right hand side, stretching the opposite direction. We're just going to stay here for just as long as we stayed on the other side. Just going to come check that we're all okay, because you can easily get confused what side you're meant to be on for this one. Nice work, guys. If you need to roll out of the stretch and roll back in, that is absolutely fine. As I mentioned in today's class, we're going to be working quite deeply. So you may find there's a few stretches where you want to come out of them and go back in. Remember, it's super important that we listen to our own bodies throughout these sessions. So if you need to lift out, lift out. Nice. Well done. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, rolling back onto the back. We're going to bring those feet flat to the floor and bend the knees. We're going to take the right foot and pop it on top of the left thigh. And leaning through the gap, we're either going to take a hold of the back of the thigh or the front of the shin, depending on your range of motion, and slowly bring it in towards us. Feeling a nice deep stretch down the right-hand side of the hip. Through the right glute. But most importantly, not tensing up any other area of the body. So if you feel the shoulders perhaps tensing, just try and roll them, loosen them off. If you're holding any tension in your jaw, shake it out. Close those eyes down and just focus on you and your breathing. With every exhale, seeing if you can pull just a little bit more, not too much more, but just a little bit into that stretch. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, lowering the left foot down, unwrapping the right leg and crossing the left over onto the right. Exactly the same. We're going through that gap, either onto the back of the thigh or the shin, and pulling it in towards us. Now, one side is probably going to feel a little bit tighter than the other, and that is a-okay. Just focus on keeping the levels of relaxation the same. So loosening off the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, the back, the knee, the ankle, the calf. And imagining that every exhale brings in fresh oxygen, which is just going to that hip, just to the glute, just the hip, and helping it ease off for you. Well done. Keep the breathing going. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Legs coming flat, feet coming flat to the floor. Grab your strap for me, it should be near you. We're going to start working through these hamstrings now. I know there was a few requests for hamstrings, so get ready to feel a little bit tight. Now you can either keep the non-working leg bent or flat. I'd advise you to start the stretch before making a decision on that. So we're going to keep the left leg bent, foot flat to the floor, and we're going to loop the base of the right foot into our band and slowly stretch it out. We want to keep a bit of a bend in that knee. You don't want to lock out the leg. Keep a little bit of a bend. Now we're going to take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, we're just going to enter that hamstring stretch. Now, For those of you with a lot of range of motion in that hip, you're not going to feel much with the left leg bent. So loosen it off and lower it down to the floor. For those of you who are a little bit tighter, it's more comfortable to have that leg bent. So find whatever you need and just use that band to lever the right leg into a position where you start to feel a nice deep stretch down the back of the right leg. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And now just seeing if you've got any more to give. Relax that left hip. Don't let it tilt up. Relax it. Don't let the left side of the body tense up just because we're working the right. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Unwrapping our band. Release the right leg down to the floor. Shake off those hips, give them a wiggle. Bending the right leg so the foot is flat. We're now going to loop our resistance band around the base, or your tie, sorry, around the base of the left foot. Extending the foot up. Start stretching, keeping a little bit of a bend in the knee and starting to activate that stretch. Now, again, this side might be different to the other. So assess whether you want that leg flat or bent and make that change now. And then start pulling into your stretch. Should feel a really deep stretch all the way down the back of that left thigh. Remember, we don't want to cause tension in the right-hand side of the body. So keep it nice and loose if you can. Well done, Gemma. Nice, Kaylee. Keep it going, guys. And with your next exhale, just see if you've got anything else that you want to put into this stretch. See if you want to deepen it any more than you are at the moment. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully unlooping your band and lowering the leg down to the floor. We're going to bend the knees, bring the feet flat, and we're just going to work our hips from side to side. So we're going to lower the knees over to the left, stretching out the hips, back up to center and over to the right. I'm just going to work side to side, loosening out any stress we've caused in those hips from our first few stretches. It's really important that whatever muscle we stretch, we also stretch the opposite muscle, the antagonist muscle. This just means that we don't cause any additional tension build up as we work through the session. Well done. And lowering the legs back to the floor. We're going to interlink the fingers, take the hands up over the head, point the toes, stretch as far as we can, tense every single muscle in that body, tense the glutes, tense the thighs, everything, and hold, 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 hold. We're going to hold here for 5, for 4, for 3, 2, 1, and release. Everything melts into the floor. Bring the hands back down to the side. We're just going to take a moment to take a deep breath in and exhale. Another deep breath in and exhale. I'm just going to work through that cycle of stretches again. So we're going to bring the legs to bent. We're going to cross the left foot over onto the right thigh. We're going to lean through that gap to either the back of the leg or the shin and come into that glute stretch on the left-hand side again. Now, by working through these stretches and repeating them, we're training the body to loosen off these muscles. Ideally, at the end of a run, you want to be holding these stretches for up to 30 seconds, repeating 2 to 3 times. For a session like this, at the end of your week, rounding it off, you want to be holding stretches for anywhere from 60 to 90 seconds, repeating 1 or 2 times. Keeping that breath going in through the nose, out through the mouth. Relaxing the shoulders, keeping the eyes closed if you can. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it off. Uncross that left leg. Bring the right over the left, through the gap, and we go again on the other side. Nice, Kaylee, well done. Breathing into that hip. Nice deep breaths. Remember, you are the only person that can hear those exhales. Use them. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering back down. Taking a hold of our band again. We're going to lower the left leg to the floor or keep it bent, depending on which you used last time. Looping the right foot into our band. We're coming straight up into that extension and into our hamstring stretch once more. Remember, really important that we keep a light bend in the knee. Please don't lock out that knee. Well done. Holding for a little less time this time. We should feel that the muscle is a little bit looser. And in 3, 2, 1. Carefully releasing and bringing the left leg up and looping into our band before we start the stretch on the left hand side. Well done, guys. Keep it going. Nice work. Perfect. Holding here. Remembering to relax those shoulders. Perhaps you've got some tension in that right hip because we're working the left hand side. Try and bring the right hip down to the mat. Loosen off that right leg. Let it go. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly loosening that band off. Keeping the eyes closed if you've got them closed. Carefully bringing yourself up to a seated position. We're going to bring the feet together so the bottom of the feet is together. We're going to bring the hands to the feet or the ankles, knees wide, and we're just going to lower the chest down towards the floor, pushing through our groin and starting to stretch into those hip flexors. Now you can use your elbows as you stretch to push the legs a bit further down to the floor if you wish, if you've got the range of motion. But just hit wherever you need for this stretch. Some of us might be up here. Some might be flat to the floor. I certainly can't get that far. But you should feel a nice deep stretch through the inside of the thighs and into those hips as well. Well done. Try and keep that shoulders relaxed. Don't let the back round and hunch. Keep them relaxed. And with our next exhale, see if you can lower a little bit further. Well done. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up we come. And we're going to cross those legs over. Try and cross them the opposite way to you normally would. Move your cushion out the way. If it's in the way, pop it to one side. And just have a little water break as we finish up the first little section of our stretching today. Perfect. When you're ready, we're just coming back to this seated position, and just pop your hands on your knees so I know that we're all ready to carry on. Fab. We're going to work through some seated spinal rotations now. So these are going to work a little bit more of the upper body than the previous lying spinal rotations, which worked a lot more of the lower spine. So we're going to take the left hand over to the right knee. The right hand is going to come behind us. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And as we breathe out, we're going to turn, looking over the right shoulder and stretching through that back. Try and keep it relaxed, the shoulders down, not hunched up to the ears. Down they go. We're going to hold this really quite deeply. Staying here. Breathing into that back, any areas of tension you can feel, whether they're in the shoulders, whether they're in the hips, whether they're in the mid-spine. Just imagine the breath going directly to that area. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to the center. The right hand comes to the left knee, left hand behind, and we turn to look over the left shoulder this time. Just going to come check everyone's looking the right way. And we've got the legs in the right place. Perfect. Nice. Perfect, guys. Brilliant. It's an easy one to get twisted. You don't want to end up with your arms all over the wrong places. Remember, opportunity to keep those eyes closed if you can. Whatever you need today. Perhaps you want to feel more awake. Perhaps you're ready for this to be the end of your day. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly coming back to the middle. Give those shoulders a little bit of a roll for me, backwards, forwards, wherever you need. We're going to bring the right hand to the floor. The left hand's going to come up and over. And we're going to stretch just through the outside of the rib cage up into the armpit as well. Now you can bend the right arm to whatever degree you need. Everyone's going to be a little bit different here as to where they find the stretch. For me, I pretty much need my arm flat to the floor, but for some people it might be up here. So just find wherever that area is for you. Well done. And this is helping our hip as well, this stretch. So it might seem like an upper body stretch, but it's working areas of our upper body that connect into our hip joints. And by loosening these off, we can help release any tension through all of the muscles that link into the hip joint. So things from our quads to our hamstrings to our glute. All of these stretches are going to help with that as well. And back up to center. Left arm down to the floor, right arm up overhead. Exactly the same. Trying to make sure that the right bum cheek doesn't come off the floor, it stays on the floor. Well done. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up to center. We're going to take those hands to the back of the head, and carefully we're going to keep the shoulders relaxed as we lower the chin down towards the chest. Sorry, guys. Lowering the chin down towards the chest, stretching across the backs of the shoulders. Imagine 2 shoulder blades stretching apart from one another. Gravity pulling them apart and down towards the floor. That's just going to increase that stretch through what we call the scapula. Well done. in the nose, out the mouth, in the nose, out the mouth. And in 5, in 4, 3, 2, and 1. The right hand comes down, the left hand comes to the right hand side of the head. And you take a deep breath in. On the exhale, applying some pressure to the side of the head, and then just walking the fingers to wherever you need to feel that stretch all the way from the ear down the side of the neck, from the shoulder to the tip of the shoulder, and then down into the arm. Well done. Remember, every exhale in this class is an opportunity to leave behind anything from the week before that you want to get rid of. Well done. And in 5, in 3, 2, and 1. The right arm comes to the left side of the head, left hand to the floor. Nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, down it comes. Well done. Walking the fingers out. Nice deep stretch through that left hand side. How are you all doing? Perfect. Well done, team. Just holding for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Give those shoulders a roll. And we're going to come into our tabletop position. So bring the legs behind, knees come underneath the hips. Feel free to use a cushion here, but only if you really need it, if your floor is very uncomfortable. Hands flat to the floor, untuck the toes so the tops of the feet are flat. We're aiming to have the knees directly under the hips and the hands directly under the shoulders. Now from here, we're just going to move through from this position to child's pose, but without the upper stretch. So we're just going to come from our table to our child's pose. So those knees are slightly wide, and we're just using it to help stretch out through the groin, not the back as well. So just sitting back towards the feet, coming up, those knees should be pointing outwards slightly. And on our next one, we're going to reach forwards and come into our full child's pose, bum back and down, forehead to the floor, walking those fingers away and stretching through. Keep the breathing going. Well done. And when you're ready, I'm going to tuck those toes. The bum's going to go up to the ceiling as we come into our downward dog. Starting to really work into those hamstrings now. If you need, pedaling through from left to right. If you've already loosened them off a little, just keeping the heels flat to the floor. Well done. Now, just a little word of warning that because our head is upside down in this stretch, wherever we go from here, you may feel a slight lightheadedness. Please just be careful and move nice and slowly into our next few exercises. Okay, we're going to step the left foot through the middle of the hands, lower the right knee down to the floor, untuck the toes. We're going to slowly rotate around to the right hand side and take a hold of the right foot. If you need, grab your bands to help you lever this. So wrap it in and pull the foot in towards the glute like so. This is going to start stretching through the front of that quadricep on the right hand side. And if you need to get a little bit deeper, just start bending through that front leg as well. And that's going to shoot even more of a stretch up. If you need to hold on to something for support, a little bit like me, please do. If you're feeling a bit wobbly today. Well done. If you need to add a little bit of a bounce, then do. Should feel a nice deep stretch down the front of that quad. Keep breathing through it. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Releasing the foot out, bringing the left knee back to join the right, stepping the right forward this time. We're going to turn towards the left now. If you need your band, grab it and loop it. If not, just bringing the foot up into the hand and stretching now through the left quad. Find your balance, grab onto something if you need, and then activate that little bend to send the stretch further through the quad. I'm going to come check that we're all okay, because I know we had a few very, very tight quads. I think from Gemma's face, hers might be a little tight. Well done, guys. Keep it going. Well done, Kaylee. Nice. Remember, at any point, you can bounce back and forwards in the stretch, nice and carefully. Not with too much vigor, but just a slight bounce forwards and back can help just activate that next little bit of the stretch if you need. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to bring the right leg back this time. Tuck the toes, hands to the floor. We're going to come onto our feet and slowly open the legs as we come into a forward fold. Now you might have your hands around your shins, you might be touching the floor. Wherever your range of motion is, that is totally fine. Just try and release. Try and allow the upper body to be heavy in this moment. And just rock forwards, backwards, left, right, just very slight weight changes, hardly anything, but they will help send the stretch to anywhere you need. And if you feel a weight change and then you go, oh, that's a little bit tight, just stay there for 5 to 10 seconds and work through that tightness. Well done. And when you're ready, we're going to walk those hands forwards to the top of our mat, coming into our high plank. We're going to slowly lower the knees down to the mat, untuck the toes, the chest comes down to the floor. You don't headbutt your water bottle, unlike me. Hands come to the sides of the chest, and we're going to push ourselves up into our upward dog. Looking up. Well done. And we're going to use this opportunity to work through some rotations. So looking over the left, looking over the right, whichever way you might need. If you need to widen the legs or you need to narrow them, listen to your body and where you need to go. Well done. And we're going to tuck those toes. That bum's going to go up to the ceiling and we're going to come back up into our downward dog. Well done. And now this time, if you need to pedal, please do. But if you can keep those heels flat to the floor, the focus this time is to increase the height of that bum towards the ceiling. Always keeping a little slight bend in the knees. Don't lock them out. A little slight bend. Well done. Nice, Kaylee. Perfect. Great work, guys. I think we're starting to hopefully feel those hamstrings loosen off a little bit. I think I just saw a nod, which is good. And when you're ready, we're really simply going to walk those hands back forwards again to high plank. Lower the knees to the floor. Untuck the toes, chest down, and once again push up into our upward dog. Now this time, try and make sure you're not tensing the bum. Loosen it off, let it relax. and we're going to widen our legs out. So take them a little bit wider, and we're going to use it to stretch through the front of our hips this time a little bit more. So taking those legs a little bit wider should change this from mainly being in your core to being in the front of the hips a little bit more. Well done. I'm going to bring those feet together, knees wide, and down into our child's pose. Well done, guys. Now, as we move into the final section of today's class, just close those eyes down for me if you didn't already. And really try and keep them closed from now until the end of the session, allowing you to tune out from everything around you and just focus on nothing but your breathing, keeping it deep, filling those lungs with every inhale, fully emptying them with every exhale. Well done. Walking those fingers a little bit further forward, adding in a little bit of a back stretch to our child's pose. We're going to lift forward back to our tabletop position. I'm just going to work through a few cat-cows here. We're going to spend a minute working through cat-cows, but at your own pace. So a reminder that we tuck the tail, tuck the head, and look through the knees, arching the back up. And then we move to a curved back, belly button to the floor, tail to the sky, head up. Try and keep the eyes closed and just work through wherever you need to take these. Maybe you need to take them to the side a little bit. Maybe you need a figure of 8 in there. Whatever it might be, just move wherever your body feels it needs to. And keeping those eyes closed is just going to help you tune in to what your requirements are. Nice. Well done, guys. Perfect. Keep it going. Great work. And coming back to neutral, flatten that back. Sit back onto the heels. Swivel the legs round in front of the bum. Try and keep those eyes closed if you can. Grab your cushion, pop it behind you, and slowly lowering yourself back down to a lying position. Now we're all going to start with our feet flat to the floor and our knees to the sky. We're going to take the right arm across the body, bring the left arm under and up as we work through a shoulder stretch on this side. Try and imagine that there's a weight on top of the right shoulder, pushing it down towards the floor. As you breathe into the shoulder, and all that tension leaves with your exhale. And in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching the arms over, the left comes over the chest, the right comes under and up. Imagine there's a weight on that left shoulder as we stretch through. Keeping the breathing going once more. Relax the hands. Relax the jaw. Breathing through the stretch. For 5, 4, 3, 2, And one. Releasing the arms off, just give them a little bit of a shake. We're going to bring the feet together and allow the legs to just sink out to the side. Just sink out as far as they feel comfortable. Don't force them out to the sides. Just sinking them, one leg one way, one leg the other. And we're going to pop one hand on the diaphragm on the stomach, one hand on the chest. Going to close those eyes down and breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just by keeping our legs here for a minute, it's going to help to counter all of those stretches that we've done, so that we just release any tension that we've caused in the inner thighs, perhaps in the knees, in the front of the hips, and in the glutes as well. And when you're ready, just move those legs so that they're now flat to the floor. Release the hands from the chest and bring them down by the sides. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, just allow the body to sink into the mat. And I want you to think of one positive thing to take away from this week. Maybe it's training related, maybe it's work, maybe it's life, just one positive thing. And as we spend a few minutes here in our final relaxation pose, I want you to focus on that thought. Allow nothing else but that thought and your breathing to enter your headspace. We're going to stay here with the eyes closed, relaxing off just for a few minutes, and I'll let you know when it's time to come back. Starting to bring a little bit of a wiggle to those fingers and toes. If you'd like to stay here in the Shavasana, if you would like to stay here a little bit longer, please feel free to just turn your camera off and relax back down, and I'll know that you're just tapping out of the final bit of the class and taking your own rest. For those of you ready to end today's session, we're going to bend those knees, slowly rotating our legs over to one side, wherever you feel comfortable, coming into our fetus position with our head on a cushion, keeping those eyes closed, using those hands to push us up to a seated cross-legged position. Again, keeping the eyes closed if you can. Placing both hands onto the knees. We're going to roll the shoulders up to the ears, back and down as we sit chest proud. And together, we're going to take one deep breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, sigh it away. And when you're ready, just gradually blinking those eyes back open as you come back. I'm going to come on over. How are we feeling, guys? Nice and zen? Kaylee looks like she's ready for a nap. Yeah. All good, Gemma? Perfect. I am going to leave you guys to the rest of your Sunday evenings. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. Coming up next week, we've of course got our usual class timetable. So on Tuesday evening, we've got Strength for Runners, same on Thursday evening, both at 6 p.m. And on Sunday, we'll of course be back for stretching once more. The June timetable will also be going up this week. So once that's done, I'll send an email round to everyone, and you'll be able to start getting your credits used for those sessions as well. I'll also be sending around this recording. So those of you who are catching up on demand now, do let me know how you got on with tonight's class as well. Well done, guys. And I will stay on the call now in case anyone's got any more questions. But for those of you who are ready for the rest of your Sunday evening, have a fab evening and goodbye.
Thank you.